Good afternoon, my dear students. So yesterday class we discussed about the introduction of columns and studs. So even we discussed about the different end conditions for long columns also. Those end conditions are, the first one is both ends are of the column are hinged. The next one is one end is fixed and the other end is free. The third one is both ends of the columns are fixed. And fourth one is one end is fixed and other end is pinned. So now we will use the Euler's theory for derivations. So for that one, the first condition we will discuss now. So I will write here the condition for that. Expression for crippling load when both the ends of columns are hinged. So if you observe this condition, this is the first condition we will use in the Euler's theory. Okay. So in this condition, this is the crippling load or buckling load, whatever it may be, both are same. And if you observe here, the column ends are both ends are hinged. That means if it is a column, this one is hinged support and this one is the hinged support. So both ends are hinged support. Hinged support are nothing but pinned supports. Okay. So now I will start the derivation for this one. Now I will draw the diagram. So this is the column. This is the pinned support here. Here also pinned support. And if you observe, this is a load P acting on both sides like this. The length of the column is L. Okay. The load at which the column just buckles is called, for suppose whenever the load acting on this one, it will be buckle or it will be bend, we call it as a crippling load. For suppose now we are considering this is the A and B column, okay, and length is the L, and also uniform cross sectional area, and it is hinged at the both ends A and B. Okay. Now let P is the whatever we discussed till now is the crippling load at which the column has just buckled. Due to this buckling load, the column will deflect into curved form. Okay, that is the curved form is like this. Whenever the column will buckle, whenever load is acting due to the crippling load, the column will buckle. So due to this crippling load, the column will deflect into the curved one. So at this place, it is the deflection or lateral displacement at section here. This is at point C. We will consider a section XX from the bottom of the column. Okay. So now we will consider a section. We will write here. Now consider any section at a distance of distance x from the end A. Okay, whatever we shown here. So we are considering this section here at a distance x. So now let us take y equal to whatever we are taking y in the diagram. That is nothing but deflection or lateral displacement at the section. Okay. Now the moment due to the crippling load, we have to take the moment due to the crippling load at a section is nothing but minus p into y. Okay, so why I am taking the negative sign is due to the sign convention. Okay, so whenever it is load acting here, so it is like this. Okay, this distance is y. Okay, or now if you take from top, it will take positive, but we are taking from downside. Why? Because the section we consider from here to here, and it is like this. This is the y value, this is the p. So p into y, this is the moment. So due to this one, we are taking the negative sign convention. Now, but generally we know the but moment we equal to the formula is ei into d square y by dx square. Okay. Now we are going to equating the both moments. So now a into b square y by dx square equal to minus p into y. So again, I will write like this, if I send to the left side, what happens? A into d square y by dx square plus py equal to 0. This is our equation here. Okay. So now the solution for the above equation, how we will do the solution for this equation? I will write here again equation a into d square y by dx square plus p by a into y equal to 0. So how we will calculate the solution for this case? So now we know the equation whatever we got here d square y by dx square. Sorry, one thing. So now again, 1 second. Yeah. So this is, if I convert into this one, it doesn't come here. Sorry. So now I divided with the a into the on both sides. You will get the equation like this. Okay. So now the solution for this one I will write here d square y by dx square plus p by ei into y equal to 0. Now for suppose you can write it as a alpha square. Let us take alpha square equal to p by ei. So then what happens? Alpha equal to square root of p by ei. You can now substitute here d square y by dx square plus alpha square y equal to 0. So the solution for this type of equation is what? Y equal to c1 cos alpha x plus c2 cos alpha sin alpha x. We know this one you people learn so many times in the mathematical derivations. Okay. So now substitute in this equation, that is y equal to c1 cos alpha x plus c2 sin alpha x. Now we know already alpha is nothing but square root of p by ei. So now substitute here in this equation c1 cos square root of p by ei into x plus c2 into sin square root of p by ei into x. Okay. Now this is the equation we got here. Now if you observe here, C1 and C2 are the constants of this integration. Okay. Now what we have to do? Now we have to take the boundary conditions. The most important thing, the boundary conditions we have to take now. Okay. Now first I will consider at point A x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. So if you observe here in this point in this diagram, so if this diagram at point x, you observe here, is here x equal to 0 and even y equal to 0. Now substitute x and y in the solution of the equation. So in this equation, so whatever we got here in this equation, please substitute into that equation. So what happens? So 0 equal to c1 cos 0 plus c2 sin 0. So C1 cos 0 is nothing but 1 plus C2 sin 0 is nothing but 0. So then what happens? C1 equal to 0. So this one we got from that one. Now at point B, so what happens? For suppose at B point the x equal to L. Why? Because for suppose this is the AB. So the total length is the L. So what happens? X equal to L at point B and also y equal to 0. Now substitute in the above equation, we will get like this C1 cos L into square root of P by EI plus C2 into sin L into root P by EI. Okay. So again, here the C1 already we got, this is the value is 0. That's why the entire this one is will be 0. The remaining part is here only, that is C2 sin L into root P by EI. Okay. So then what happens? The finally we got this one. From this equation, it is clear that either C2 equal to 0 or what happens? It should be either C2 equal to 0 or sin L into root P by EI equal to 0. So these both conditions we got from the boundary conditions. So as we know that as a C1 equal to 0, then if C2 also equal to 0 from the equation 1, whatever we calculated still now. Okay. Now this means the bending moment of the column will be 0 or column will not bend at all. So which is not true. Okay. So that's why we will consider only this equation now. So this equation is nothing but sin L into root P by EI equal to 0. So that is nothing but sine 0 is nothing but sine 0 or sine pi or sine 2 pi, like that we have to write. So then what happens? This one L into root pi by ei equal to 0. Okay. But the thing is that we never ever take the 0 value directly, but we will take the pi value or 2 pi value, taking the least practical value. Okay. So then L square root of p by a equal to pi. So then p equal to what happens? Square root of p by ei equal to pi by L. So then P equal to what happens? Pi square by L square multiply with the EI. So the final value we got pi square EI by L square. So this is the load we have to calculate it from the first Euler's theorem when the condition is both the ends of the columns are hinged. Okay. This is the first condition whatever we discussed till now. And moving ahead to the second condition in the Euler's theorem is, I will write here now. Okay, it is also very easy one. The expressions per crippling load. Crippling load is nothing but buckling load also. When one end of the column is fixed and the other is free. So this is the condition. So that means one end of the column is fixed here and the other end is free. So I will write here like that how we will take the diagram. So this is the fixed one, and if I consider here, this is the A and this is the B. So when load is acting like this, what happens? It will go the curvature like this. So this is the deformation or deflection, whatever it may be. So here there will be a deflection, we call it as a at the point B. And same time, if I consider a section from the base, the XX, here also there will be a deflection, we call it as a Y. Okay. Now the total length of the column we are taking, that is nothing but L. So this is the, whenever the crippling load, the AB is the original column position. But when the crippling load P is acting, that one, A, B dash, it is the deformation of the column. Okay, now we will enter into the solution for this case. So I will write here clearly. Let us, we take Y equal to deflection at the section, whatever we are taking in the diagram, and A equal to deflection at the free end B. See, you observe here in this diagram also. So this is A is the deflection at the point B. Deflection at the section is nothing but Y. Now then the moment at the section due to the crippling load, what happens? When load into A minus Y, we have to take that one. I will write again here. Then moment at the section due to the crippling load equal to P into A minus Y. So this is the moment we taken from the diagram. So generally what is we know the moment is, previously I wrote already, EI into d square y by dx square. So now equating these both movements, then we will get one equation. So I will write here again, EI into d square y by dx square equal to P into A minus Y. So then again I will write like this, PA minus PY. Okay, then what happens? EI into d square y by dx square. If you send this one into the left side, it is like this. Is change the positive sign, Py equal to Pa. Then again, if I divide with the entire equation with the EI, what happens? D square y by dx square plus P by EI into y equal to P by EI into A. So this is the entire equation we got from this one when we equate the both equations. Now the same thing like that, whatever we discussed in the previous derivation, we have to take alpha square equal to P by EI, that is nothing but alpha equal to square root of P by EI. if I do like this, how we will get the solution for the differential equation is y equal to c1, y equal to c1 cos x into square root of p by ei plus c2 into sine x into square root of p by ei plus a. Okay, we will get this solution. But anyway, how we will got, I will write again for your better understanding. You know, if you see in this equation, d square y by dx square plus p by a into y and a, so these are there. Okay, I will substitute like a alpha. Okay, so d square y by dx square plus alpha square y equal to alpha square into a. Okay, here alpha is nothing but square root of p by ei. We know already when you complete the further this solution, y equal to c1 cos alpha x, c2 sin alpha x plus alpha square a into alpha square. So same like that we will get c1 cos square root of p by ei into x plus c2 into sin square root of p by ei into x plus a. So whatever I wrote here, this equation we got still now. Okay, now we will moving ahead to the boundary condition. Okay, so when you observe here the boundary condition, what happens at point A, if you look into this diagram you see at point this point what happens, x equal to 0, at the same time the slope with dy by dx also is 0. So same thing, the I will take the boundary condition and I will substitute into above the equation. I will write here at A x equal to 0 and dy by dx equal to 0. Okay, if you observe here x equal to 0 and dy by dx equal to 0, so the above equation what happened, x equal to, so I will write again here y equal to the equation for your understanding level. Okay, wait for 1 second. Yeah, so the equation is y equal to c1 cos x root p by ei plus c2 sin x root p by ei plus a. So then x equal to 0. That means what? And also, so the first case not dy by dx, x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. Okay, y is nothing but deflection. So, so whenever the deflection is 0, even dy by dx also is 0. So in this condition, if I substitute into this equation, then y equal to 0 and here x equal to 0. So then c1 cos 0 plus sine 0 is nothing but completely 0. Okay, plus a is there, constant a. So then what happens, 0 equal to c1 plus a, c1 equal to minus a. So we got the condition like this, the c1 equal to a minus a. So at point a, now we take in x equal to a and y equal to 0. Same like that at a, take the differentiating equation with respect to the x, but before that x equal to 0, dy by dx equal to 0. This is the slope. Okay, so now if I take differentiate the above equation, what is that? Y equal to c1 cos x into root square root of p by ei plus c2 into sin x into square root of p by ei plus a. So we have to differentiate this one. Why? Because we have dy by dx. So what happens? This is the dy by dx equal to cos. When you are differentiating, it will change to the minus sign. So minus sine, okay, x into square root of p by ei plus c2 into, for sine it is a cos x into square root of p by ei, and again you see it is again in multiply by square root of p by ei, again multiply by square root of p by ei plus 0. Okay, this is the differential equation. Okay, now if I substitute here, what happens? If I substitute x equal to 0 and dy by dx equal to 0, so I will write clearly again. Okay, the above equation, dy by dx equal to minus c1 square root of p by ei sine x into square root of p by ei plus c2 into square root of p by ei into cos x into square root of p by ei. Okay, now substitute x equal to 0 and the slope dy by dx equal to 0 into the above equation. So what happens? Dy by dx is nothing but 0 minus c1. Okay, then it is like the same, and x equal to 0. So minus c1 square root of p by ea, then sine 0 plus c2 square root of p by ea into cos 0. Okay, then what happens? So this one is the sine 0 is nothing but 0. So cos 0 is a 1. So 0 equal to what happens? C2 square root of p by ea into 1. Okay, so if you observe here, uh, the value equal to we will get finally c2 square root of p by ei. Okay, so it is clearly stating that it is c2 equal to 0 as well as square root of p by ei equal to also 0. Okay, but for the crippling load whatever we are discussing, the value of square root of p by ea is not 0. That's why we will take only c2 equal to 0. So it is not a 0 because of the crippling load. Now substitute, we got c1 and also c2. So what are the values of c1 and c2? c1 is nothing but minus a, c2 is nothing but 0. So if you substitute in the above equation, the first equation, the first equation we got, that is a y equal to c1 cos x square root of p by ea plus c2 into sine x square root of p by ea plus a. So if you substitute the c1 and the c2 values, so how we will get y equal to c1 is nothing but minus a into cos x square root of p by ea plus c2 is 0. So the entire it is 0, then plus a constant. Okay, we got the equation y equal to like this. So now, but at the free end of the column, if you observe at the free end, what happened? So when the column is fixed and other end is a free end. So this one, the length is x equal to, at this point, what happens? X equal to L. At the same time, y equal to a. I will write here again. So if it is a fixed condition, we know already, so it is a bending like this. Okay, this point it is a. So then what happens? Y deflection y equal to a, and the length, overall length of the column is x equal to L. So now take the condition x equal to L and y equal to a. So substitute these values in the equation 3, whatever we got previously. Now this equation, if you substitute here, I will write again here. Okay, y equal to minus a into cos of x square root of p by ei plus a. So now y equal to how much? A. So minus a into cos L into square root of p by ei plus a. So now a and a here cancel. What happens? 0 equal to minus a into cos L into square root of p by ei. So now again, if I send to this side, so what happens? A into cos L into square root of p by ei equal to 0. So now here a cannot be equal to 0. So what happens? How we will take the value? Those values are cos of L into square root of p by ei equal to 0. So it is nothing but cos pi by 2 or cos 3 pi by 2 like this. Okay. So then we will take L into square root of p by ei. We will take the least value. Okay. That value is pi by 2. So if you take the practical value, the least value is pi by 2. If you observe here, what happens? Then L into square root of p by ei equal to pi by 2. Okay. Next, square root of p by ei. If you send the L to the right hand side, what happens? Pi by 2L. It will go to the denominator. Then what happens? P by ei equal to pi square into 2L. Then p equal to what happens? Pi square into ei by 2L. So this is the crippling load from the Euler's theorem. When you observe in the crippling load, when one end of the column is fixed and the other end of the column is free. Okay. So these are the uh, two conditions. Okay. But anyway, I will explain briefly within 1 second. Yeah, see, we have total 4 conditions are there, okay, for the columns. So especially in the Euler's theory, we have expressions for the each one, each column, each Euler's theory it is saying differently. Okay. So now if you observe into the Euler's theory, the first part, whatever you are saying, the first condition is expression for the crippling load when both ends of the columns are hinged. Okay. So that means this is a hinged support and this one also hinged support. Hinged support is nothing but pinned support. So this is the when crippling load acting on that one, it should be buckle. Okay. And this is the total length of the column. And next we are considering the moment. We got a minus P by Y. So actually we know the moment EI into d square Y by dx square. If you equate this one, we will get one equation. After that, write the solution for that equation. We got like this, that is the y equal to C1 cos alpha x plus C2 sin alpha x. So after that, take the boundary conditions, but x equal to 0, y equal to 0, you will get C1. And when you take the boundary condition at the both ends, at A and at B, okay, so you will get C1 and C2 values. So, but from that, finally we will get the P value like this. So for the first condition, the P equal to pi square EI by L square. So we use this one in the in the formulas. Once if we start the formulas, we will do this one. Okay. The second condition, expression for the crippling load when one end of the column is fixed and other end of the column is free. So this is the second condition in the Euler's theory for the column. Okay, this is the second part. Okay, now you see when we are applying a load, that is the crippling load, this is the original shape of the column. So after this one, there will be a curved formed in the a column. So here the deflection or the section, we are taking a section x6 from the fixed end at a distance of x. So the deflection is y at the section and a is the deflection at the end. Okay. If you observe here y and a here, so you will get the moment is p into a minus y. So the actual moment is a into d square y by dx square. If you equate this both, and we will get the equation like this. Okay, the solution for that equation is y into c1 cos x into square root of p by ea plus c2 sin x square root of p by ea plus a. There is another constant here. So now take the boundary conditions at a. If you boundary condition x equal to 0 and also y equal to 0, that is nothing but at the end the deflection y equal to 0. Even slope also dy by dx also 0. From this condition you will get C1. So again, if you take the slope equal to 0, what happens? You will get the C2 value. Okay, C2 also we got 0. So once if you substitute this C1 and C2 in the above equation, whatever we got the solution of our equation, we will get another equation. So from this or the free end, we will take at point to B the condition, the boundary conditions are x equal to L and y equal to A. If you substitute in that equation, finally we got the P value is pi square EA by 2L. So this is the two derivations in the Euler's theory. So in the next class, we will discuss about when both ends of the both ends are fixed, how we will derive the value. And when one end of the column is fixed, other end is hinged or pinned. So how we will derive that one. So later we will discuss about effective length also. So once after the next class, we will solve the problems. Okay. So now hello.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
చెప్పండి.
Sir, ఇక్కడ under root of p by ei is equal to pi by 2l కదా sir. Next step లో pi square is equal to p by ei is equal to pi square by 2l whole square కదా sir.
Okay. Sorry here. Okay. Yes, Amma. Yes, you are right. Yeah. Sorry for this one. Okay. Thank you for intimation. Yeah. So what happened? So whatever you told, that is right. Yeah. Here there is a small correction. I will write here again. P by EI equal to 2 pi by 2L. Sorry, pi by 2L. Yes or no? Yes, pi by 2L. Then P by equal to pi square by 4L square. So then P equal to pi square into, okay, EI by 4L square. So this is the equation.